How is pain and suffering calculated into a personal injury case? Hey there, I'm Chris Klotz with the Stevenson and Klotz injury law firm here in Pensacola with offices in Mobile. And I'm here to talk about pain and suffering and what that means in the context of an injury case. So a lot of people will say, well, if I get injured and then I have a case, what are the things that I can, recover for? Well, if you have, property damage amounts, if you have medical bills amounts, if you have pain and suffering, that's one of the things that you can also recover for, and loss of enjoyment of life. But I'm going to talk specifically about pain and suffering. So let's say you have an accident and then you have to go to the doctor and perhaps have a surgery. You'll have a certain amount of pain that is associated with your recovery, a certain amount of pain that might be associated with your recovery from the surgery, a certain amount of pain that might just come from having a broken bone or a laceration or some type of injury to your back or neck. In those instances where you're suffering from pain is something that the state of Florida and most other states allow you to be compensated for. So the things that are medical expenses or property damage expenses are one type of injuries that you can make a claim for, but also the pain that you experience as you're going through your recovery, or the pain that you experience as you are actually involved in the accident, are something that very specifically can be compensated for in a case as it moves forward. And so what happens is, if your lawyer is doing what they're supposed to do, they'll have kind of almost a chart or a spreadsheet, if you will, like this amount of medical damages, this amount of property damage, this amount of pain and suffering, and then there's other types of damages or injuries that you can collect for, but your amount of pain can be something that is compensable. If you don't experience much pain as a result of an accident or somebody else's negligence, that's good. But if you do have pain, certainly something like a low level of pain will probably have a less value of a very high amount of pain. And so it's very personalized to each individual case. We can help you figure this out. That's one of the things that we do as we work through our cases, is we get very specific with clients about what type of pain they have had, if any, and then attempt to quantify that as your case moves forward. Sometimes that's something that can be compensated as part of a settlement. Sometimes if you actually end up having a trial in your case, that's something that a jury will consider. How much pain did the injured person suffer as they were going through the accident and then their recovery? And then some people, as a result of an accident, they might have pain that might last them for the rest of their life. A jury is allowed to consider that in forming an award for somebody who is asking for compensation when they've been injured. So that's a little bit about pain and suffering and how it's related to an injury case. If you have any questions about that, we'd love to talk to you about your case and help you figure this out. I'm Chris Klotz with the Stevenson and Klotz injury law firm here in Pensacola. We're at 850-444-0000. And if you have questions about this or anything else related to a case, you can give us a call. I'm Chris Klotz. Thank you for trusting us with your case.